It's a co-meat sizzler, boys, and one that I love because it has such open-ended consequences. I mean, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for both these guys. Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler making his debut from Bellator, getting to fight in a co-meat slot underneath Conor McGregor, and there's never going to be more eyes on you than in this moment. So, if one of these guys gets an impressive win, cuts a sweet promo, they can jump the line. And so I'm super excited for how open ended this fight is going to be. Dan Hooker, main event stable by now, New Zealand's finest, trains with Izzy. And he said he wants to send Michael Chandler back to the B League. So it's going to be a fascinating debut for Iron Michael Chandler, who throughout his career has been claiming that he is the best lightweight in the world. And he said something this week to the effect of, I'm either going to prove everything I've been saying, or he's going to be proven wrong. So it's no easy out in a debut against the Hangman, a guy who has finishes over Gilbert Burns and has had absolute wars with Dustin Poirier, Felder, and other legends in the sport. So how do you see this one going between Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler?
Yeah, no, this is an absolute banger of a fight. Couldn't have asked for a better matchup from the matchmakers, so appreciate it to Dana
Mm-hmm.
and all those guys. Because, I mean, stylistically, this is amazing. I mean, this has got to be one of the toughest matchups for Michael Chandler, and also this has got to be one of the best wrestlers that Dan Hooker's probably gone versus, and gonna be. I mean, Michael Chandler's so powerful and just like low center of gravity. He's 5'8", he's short, but he's stocky and just explosive. Dan Hooker's got those lanky hangman arms, and I think he's been practicing a lot of obviously takedown defense. He's a hard man to keep down. I mean, he's 6 foot, 75-inch reach to 5'8" and 69-inch reach for Michael Chandler. So big advantage on for the stand-up game in my opinion with that reach for Dan Hooker. But also, I think people forget how big Hooker is. It doesn't even make sense how he makes 155, to be honest. I mean, this guy's a monster. When you see him sparring with Izzy in the gym, he looks the same size as Izzy. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So this is just like a crazy, crazy setup, and I'm gonna have to go with Hooker though. I'm kind of leaning on him. It's surprising that it seems that most of Tapology, I thought everyone was going to go Chandler, to be honest, just because he is the Bellator champ. There's a lot of hype behind him, but maybe the last time this happened, we had Ben Askren come in here, and we kind of saw the snooze fest. What happened with that? So maybe people are kind of doubting these other organizations. But either way, it's a good flair, good spice to the mix of the UFC. Super excited, but I'm gonna take Hooker KO first round with a knee.
I wonder how Michael Chandler would respond to being in a similar company with Ben Askren, but you do make an interesting point because there was similar hype for Ben when he was making his debut. And granted, he got the win over Robbie Lawler. We were there. It wasn't the career that he had sort of envisioned and told everyone he was going to map out. So hopefully, Chandler doesn't experience a similar fate. But you mentioned you think it's going to be a finish by a knee. And I remember Hooker earlier in the week saying something to the effect of, I'm going to bust him up on the feet a bit. He's going to get desperate. And once he gets desperate and shoots, he's going to get clacked by one of those knees. So, is that sort of how you see that going down? Do you think it's going to be a desperation shot when Michael can't hold his feet or hold his own on the feet, and will have to go there? Or where do you see these knees being implemented by Hooker?
Yeah, I mean, I see that when you watch Chandler, he goes for a lot of takedowns,
Mhm.
and Hooker is expecting that. I mean, he's definitely ready for those knees. There's no way Michael Chandler outboxes Hooker. The reach is not there. He might have similar or just as good boxing. I don't see it, but let's just say he does. If they've had the same boxing but not enough reach, you're never going to be able to hit him. So as long as Hooker keeps his distance and keeps that jab going and doesn't play Michael Chandler's game, I think he has this win pretty good. Now, if he falls into Chandler's game, that's where it can get a little scary. But once again, Hooker's a big dude. As we've seen, he's fought a lot of good guys, and it's really hard to keep that man down. But I mean, only time will tell, and we'll find out how good Chandler is. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with Hooker because I believe that he'll get it done. And I think, I mean, you see his legs are so long. I mean, he could probably snipe his knee. I mean, from 20 feet away. That's how that's how long his legs are. So I mean, he's gonna hit him with knees standing up. He's 5'8", perfect height for his knee to hit his chin. I mean, it's pretty short. His knees are long, so probably matches up pretty good. And also on the takedowns, he's going to go right into the knee. So either way, he's getting knees standing. He's taking them, going for the takedowns. Wherever it is, Hooker's sniping knees.
Fair enough. Yeah, Hooker is a long, rangy dude, and I like the point you make about how he's tough to keep down. So it will be pretty fascinating to see what sort of ground game Chandler can implement because we know that's his bread and butter, right? He's trying to take you down. He's trying to keep you down. So we'll see if he's able to. Hooker seems to think that he won't. But you also touched on the stand-up a little bit, and I think that Michael Chandler is going to surprise people on the feet a little bit because while I have all respect for Dan Hooker and his array of strikes on the feet. Michael Chandler can punch with the best of them out there too, and I think that he might be able to get close. And we've seen Dan Hooker eat a lot of shots by most of his opponents in the UFC. Granted, he can take a shot, but some of the damage that he took from Edson Barbosa, that was brutal. Some of the damage he took from Paul Felder. I mean, he's been from Dustin Poirier. He eats a lot of shots, and I think that Michael Chandler is going to find a way to get inside, and I think he might even turn Hooker's lights off. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get the KO outright, but if he drops Hooker and finishes with some heavy top pressure and a TKO ground and pound, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing to me. So I've been repping Michael Chandler for a few years. I'd be a coward if I backed out now. So I think he's that good. I think he's top 5 UFC good. And I'm going to pick Michael Chandler in this one in what I think is going to be a grueling decision victory or maybe even a TKO for Chandler. If you look at Tapology, about 2,400 votes and 63%, like you mentioned, is going with Hooker. Majority of it is Brown. They think he might get that KO finish. 37% going with Chandler. The majority beige. They think he'll get it done by decision. So interesting splits there. Hell of a co-main event. Any last thoughts?
No, one thing I do want to point out is, Chandler, he definitely doesn't not take damage in a lot of his fights.
Sure,
He takes
sure,
a
sure.
lot of hits. Black and Blue still gets the win. And he's been knocked out a few times. I mean, and also Hooker's been KO'd before too. Edson Barboza. Um, but I'm just kind of worried that Chandler's gonna eat, a little too many meat bombs, and I would say that Hooker has a better chin. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if Hooker has a chin, to be honest. He could just take hits. But yeah, I'm a little worried for Michael Chandler and this big boy, but honestly, I hope he proves me wrong because we already know Dan Hooker can't beat Dustin Poirier or those other top echelon guys, so it's kind of nice to spice up another dude that's a what if Khabib, what if Conor beater. So I kind of rooting for Chandler, but my gut stays Hooker, so I'm picking Hooker.
Yeah, and you're right. He does just kind of walk through those shots, sort of like a New Zealand zombie in a sense. So super stoked for this one. He's going with Dan Hooker. I got Michael Chandler in his debut. Check out the next vid for our main event. Connor's back.